Sometimes, the hardest battles are fought in silence. In the imposing towers of Hanlim Group, the atmosphere thrummed with ambition and sharp-edged competitiveness. Jiwoo felt, once again, the weight of her invisibility. Despite her relentless work ethic, she was often the target of condescending remarks from colleagues who viewed her humble beginnings and lack of a prestigious degree with disdain. The sharp suits and polished shoes that surrounded her seemed to whisper the same truth. She would always be the overlooked one, a shadow in their corporate spotlight. Yet each time she faced the challenge, she held onto a dream, nurtured by a fragile flicker of hope, to prove herself in a world that cast her aside. When the watchful gaze of Byung-ho Kim, the enigmatic CEO, fell upon her, the tides began to shift. He saw something in her dedication that others did not. His reputation was as formidable as the high-rise building they inhabited, and his voice commanded respect. But it was his unyielding support that began to awaken Jiwoo's potential. By offering her unique projects to lead, he etched her into the company's fabric, creating a bond that neither could yet fully understand. Jiwoo felt a flutter of gratitude and confusion as she earned Byung-ho's approval, fortifying her resolve to succeed. After countless late nights at the office, they found rhythm in collaboration, exchanging ideas that danced between professionalism and a subtle warmth. In moments of casual laughter or shared coffee breaks, Jiwoo sensed an electric connection brewing, though she remained blissfully unaware of the tangled history that lay beneath their professional exchange. But shadows from the past layered over her present, complicating the brilliantly burgeoning partnership. The buzzing office suddenly felt claustrophobic the day Carl, Byung-ho's half-brother, returned, casting a shroud of distrust. His charming smile veiled his intentions, and Jiwoo learned quickly that his vendetta against Byung-ho ran deep, stemming from a whirlpool of family drama. Unbeknownst to her, Carl's manipulations intensified, but so did Jiwoo's resolve to rise above the dismissive whispers of her peers. She began fighting for her place, fueled by both competitiveness against Carl and her desire to earn Byung-ho's respect, which she now saw reflected in his eyes during their meetings. "You have the capability to be a leader, Jiwoo," he would say. And the sincerity in his words echoed louder than the mockery she often endured. But one late evening, Jiwoo stumbled upon an email thread revealing treacherous plans orchestrated by Carl to undermine her and Byung-ho. Heart racing, she found herself standing before Byung-ho, the gravity of her discovery anchoring her voice. "We need to act fast. He's plotting against us." The urgency hung in the air as Byung-ho stepped closer, the tension bursting between them. "I've suspected him for a while, but his connection to our family makes this delicate." Their mission to expose Carl brought them closer, igniting lingering feelings between them. Beneath it all, a truth seeped through the carefully layered walls they built. They were fighting not just for Hanlim Group, but for each other. But every victory has its price, and Carl pushed harder, pulling strings that turned their fragile trust into chaos. In a critical confrontation at the office rooftop, a place of refuge now steeped in confrontation, Jiwoo defensively squared against Carl, trembling but resolute as he launched accusations of betrayal against Byung-ho, referencing their clandestine marriage that had been kept under wraps. Jiwoo felt her heart lurch. Memories flooded back, half-formed and disjointed of their wedding day, something she had buried beneath her aspirations. "You think the world is yours to manipulate, but you're wrong, Carl," Jiwoo spoke passionately, shocking even herself. Byung-ho's eyes widened at her defiance. It was the moment everything changed. They united against Carl, whose facade cracked under the pressure. "You never stood a chance," he hissed as Jiwoo and Byung-ho faced him, their shared determination breaking their previous boundaries. The confrontation shook the foundations of their relationships, leading Jiwoo to delve deep within herself. Revelations about her past clashed with the future that began to unfold with Byung-ho. After dismantling Carl's machinations and reinforcing their positions in the company, Jiwoo finally allowed herself to confront her feelings for him. They stood on that rooftop again, the city a glimmering tapestry beneath them, lingering emotions weighing heavy in the air. "We fought against the world together. I feel like you've been more than my protector." I feel something deeper, Jiwoo confessed, vulnerability etching her words. Byung-ho took a moment, searching her eyes. I was set to protect you, but you've become everything to me. A soft moment of silence enveloped them before he enveloped her in his embrace, sealing their unspoken bond with a kiss that had been a long time coming. With hearts now aligned and their trust solidified, Jiwoo and Byung-ho faced not just the future of Hanlim Group, but they envisioned a personal journey of exploration and love that pulsed beneath their surfaces. They pledged to stay loyal not only to each other but to the values they held dear, values that transcended corporate ambitions and petty rivalries. Standing at the precipice of a new chapter, Jiwoo glanced at Byung-ho, the shadows of the past fading as they forged ahead into an uncertain but hopeful tomorrow. The story of their trials and triumphs hung in the air, an inspiring testament to connection, passion, and the resilient journey of love between two intertwined hearts. In the corporate battlefield, trust is as fragile as glass. Jiwoo stood before her desk in the towering Hanlim Group headquarters, her heart racing with a blend of determination and apprehension. In the weeks following her promotion, she found herself transforming. Responsibilities once daunting had become a challenge she embraced, and with each passing day, Jiwoo gained the respect and admiration of her peers. The echo of their laughter in the office felt like sweet music, but beneath that newfound confidence, shadows from her past loomed persistently, remnants of a hurried marriage arranged for the sake of convenience. A life chapter that felt like a distant dream she couldn't entirely grasp. Yet she pressed forward, proudly donning the armor of ambition and optimism. It was during one of her late-night projects that Carl's footsteps echoed through the office, bringing with him a wave of charm tinged with malice. Byung-ho's half-brother was the type to light up a room, but his smile held an edge, a calculated intent aimed at undermining everything Byung-ho had built, especially Jiwoo's budding career. At first, Carl's presence seemed like an inconvenient sprinkle of drama in Jiwoo's otherwise steady progress. However, as he strolled casually in and out of meeting rooms, tossing off compliments that masked his true intentions, Jiwoo began to realize that danger had entered their sleek, glass-walled sanctuary. Carl engineered chaos. Whispers soon filled the hallways, rumors suggesting mismanagement in the department Jiwoo was leading. The tension between Jiwoo's newfound stability and Carl's scheming began to stretch like a taut string. With Byung-ho preoccupied by growing internal and external pressures for his leadership of Hanlim, Jiwoo found herself caught in a whirlwind, fluctuating between empowerment and trepidation. One afternoon, as Jiwoo huddled over spreadsheets, a terse message flashed on her phone, disrupting her focus. A meeting had been called unexpectedly. The sound of murmurs filled the boardroom, feeding Jiwoo's apprehension as she took her seat. Carl stepped forward, his facade of charm slipping just enough to unveil the predator beneath. He presented fabricated evidence of Jiwoo's supposed incompetence, crafting a narrative that turned colleagues against her. "It's quite troubling, isn't it?" he remarked, smoothly curving his lips into a smile that chilled Jiwoo to the bone. Before the gathering, Jiwoo's chest tightened. She had poured her heart into her work, and now Carl was about to dismantle everything. Feeling the weight of everyone's gazes upon her, Jiwoo's voice trembled, but held a spark of defiance. "That's not true. We can verify the numbers if we look closely," she countered, the fire in her eyes igniting courage. The room buzzed with surprise at her spirited response, shifting the tide, though she was keenly aware that this was only the beginning of a long, fierce battle. Her instincts screamed for her to retreat, to bury herself in workload rather than face the chaos incited. But as she glanced at Byung-ho, who stood silently observant, that fleeting doubt transformed into resolve. He believed in her. Later that day, Jiwoo found herself in a dimly lit corner of the office, trying to collect her thoughts when Byung-ho appeared, his presence commanding yet supportive. "You handled yourself well today," he said, admiration evident in his voice. For the first time she felt seen, not as an overlooked worker, but as someone worthy of his trust. But Carl will not back down. We have to confront him. Their shared resolve solidified a partnership between them, one carefully navigated with both trepidation and respect. As days unfolded and pressures mounted, Byung-ho uncovered more of Carl's deceptive plots within the company. Each revelation fractured the family dynamic deeper, exposing the vulnerabilities that lay hidden. Ji-woo discovered notes on Carl's various attempts to use her as a pawn in his sinister game, and each discovery washed over her with a familiar wave of dread. It wasn't only her job at stake anymore, it was her identity. Would she become a victim of the chaos birthed from envy? In the midst of planning their next move, Ji-woo and Byung-ho began to share more than just strategies. They unveiled layers of emotions and secrets stemming from their pasts. The climax arrived one fateful evening in a tense confrontation between Ji-woo, Byung-ho, and Carl. In the office, illuminated by the cold fluorescent lights, Carl's confidence flickered when confronted with undeniable evidence gathered by Byung-ho and Ji-woo. As they cornered him, the tension thickened, a moment sprawling out like a taut rubber band ready to snap. With steely resolve, Ji-woo recounted everything she had experienced, all the whispers, uncertainties, and challenges that shaped her resolve. "You don't own this place, Carl, nor do you own my worth," she declared powerfully, standing in full view of her colleagues. The power shifted. The room fell silent, and Carl's smirk faltered, slipping into anger as Byung-ho stepped forward. Afterward, the air felt lighter, yet unfinished. Carl had been expelled, but the echoes of that day lingered. Ji-woo, despite her heart racing, looked into Byung-ho's eyes, filled with an unguarded joy, a bond of shared struggles woven tightly between them. Moments later, they shared an intimate conversation, revealing their vulnerabilities that led them to this moment, layers of their past unfurling like petals of a blossoming flower. In each other's gaze, they glimpsed not only comfort, but also a promise for the future, an entwined path forged through trust and resilience. Ji-woo spoke softly, her voice thick with emotion. "Thank you for believing in me. A future together is built on trust," he replied, sincerity warming his words. Knowing there were battles ahead, but with him by her side, Ji-woo took a breath. Their connection felt new yet unfurling, a promise of loyalty, transformation, and simmering affection. As the sun set over the city skyline, the glow illuminated the promise of what would come, setting the stage for a partnership of strength and mutual respect. Ji-woo had not only found her confidence, she had also found a kindred spirit who stood with her against the world, ready to face whatever the future held. Beneath the surface of corporate ambition lies a tangled web of hidden truths. In the shadows of Hanlim Group's glass corridors, Ji-woo and Byung-ho crafted a fragile alliance amidst the brewing storm that was Carl. Their late-night strategy sessions became an unspoken sanctuary, intimate moments overshadowed by the ever-present specter of conflict, yet alive with the promise of discovery. In the glow of their laptop screens, Ji-woo meticulously examined the company's records, piecing together the intricate challenges that lay ahead. With each passing day, her confidence burgeoned as she found her voice in the cacophony of boardroom discussions. Sitting across from Byung-ho, she could feel echoes of something more profound than the mere professional exchange they maintained. Laughter punctuated their discussions, and sometimes, when their eyes met, a spark ignited an uncharted territory within her heart. One evening, while the city below buzzed with life, Ji-woo stumbled upon a file tucked away in the archives. The document revealed Carl's past ventures, misappropriations and backdoor dealings that had sent shockwaves through the company years prior. Her excitement mingled with fear as she realized the implications. How could she confront Byung-ho about this without further driving a wedge between him and his brother? This connects everything," she murmured, flipping the pages with urgency. Byung-ho's brow furrowed in concentration as he leaned closer to examine the startling evidence. The revelations brought them together and tore at the very fabric of their shared reality. If we expose him, this could destroy everything he's built, or could be the key to restoring faith in our leadership, Byung-ho said, his voice heavy with the weight of potential betrayal. As the line blurred between strategy and personal connection, Ji-woo couldn't ignore the chemistry that blossomed like spring flowers between them. Their playful banter turned into moments of vulnerability. Each laughter echoed against the walls of her insecurities. This hidden alliance watered a root of affection that Ji-woo had tried to bury, but it stubbornly pushed through. She found herself increasingly drawn to Byung-ho, facing a turbulent mix of fear and longing. The quiet yearning surged through her, igniting a deeper need for connection. Every shared glance and faint smile built a bridge across the void she had felt since her marriage, forcing her to reckon with the distant memories of a life she barely recalled. Unbeknownst to Ji-woo, Byung-ho grappled with the complexity of his own feelings. Loyalty to family clashed with an undeniable attraction to the woman sitting before him. Their late-night sessions became an escape from the burdens he carried. His responsibilities weighed heavily on his shoulders, and Ji-woo offered a glimmer of hope and warmth he hadn't anticipated. Each revelation by Ji-woo drew him closer, but the sinister implications of family loyalty lodged like shards of glass in his mind. As moments pulsed with unsaid confessions, he found himself standing on the precipice of a decision that could reshape both their lives. In a pivotal meeting to discuss the findings about Carl's actions, the atmosphere crackled with tension. Ji-woo's heart raced as she realized she needed to speak up, to challenge the fragility of her position and the honesty of their budding relationship. "We can't keep this quiet. If we don't act, I fear we're just allowing Carl to manipulate our downfall from within," she pressed, meeting Byung-ho's intense gaze. It was her conviction that sliced through the uncertainty clouding his judgment. The room fell silent. She could feel the weight of her words settle around them, a storm brewing on the horizon. Finally, unable to contain the torrent of emotions, Byung-ho reached out. "Ji-woo, you're right. We have to face him together. But I need you to know, this won't be easy. I can't lose you, but to confront my brother is to face my worst fears," he confessed, the rawness of vulnerability spilling from his lips. In that charged moment, honesty anchored their connection, demolishing the barriers that had long kept them apart. Ji-woo felt the intensity of their closeness unfurl, intertwining their dreams, fears, and the complicated legacy of family ties, flooding her with a sense of purpose she'd long sought. As they prepared to take on Carl, the room behind them simmers with unresolved tension and looming threats. Every moment painted with sharp reality, Ji-woo silently hoped for the strength that such a profound connection could foster. The night wore on, shadows stretching longer across their shared resolve. Even as they stood together against the mounting challenges ahead, uncertain about what tomorrow brought. Yet, a faint sense of hope had sprouted deep within them, one that promised growth, resilience, and the possibility of love unfurling against the odds. Together, they vowed not just to protect the company they had grown to cherish, but to navigate the tangled realms of their hearts. When trust is shattered, the heart's true battle begins. Ji-woo sat in the dimly lit corner of her office, the hum of the late-night work ambiance tinged with worry. The once comforting silence had morphed into a haunting echo of uncertainty. As she sifted through stacks of paperwork, a series of documents caught her eye, anomalous transactions and whispers of backroom deals that hinted at a looming betrayal within Hanlim Group. Her heart raced. Anticipation and dread twisted together as she realized Carl's manipulative hand was at work again. What began as a promising alliance with Byung-ho had become a precarious balancing act, where every wrong move could send them spiraling. Determined to protect not just her burgeoning career, but also the fragile bond she had formed with Byung-ho, Ji-woo felt the weight of the world resting heavily on her shoulders. A cloud of tension enveloped the office, and Ji-woo fought to maintain her composure, often stealing glances at Byung-ho, whose stern expression reflected his inner turmoil. He'd become a bastion of support, instilling strength within her, yet she could sense the strain he bore, an unspoken burden that pulled at their fragile connection. Despite the growing feelings she harbored for him, memories of her peculiar marriage nagged at her, inviting darker thoughts that clouded her judgment. What did their union even mean? The absence of memories surrounding their bond left a palpable void, and in moments of vulnerability, doubts began to seep into her heart. The chaos erupted one fateful afternoon when Ji-woo overheard hushed conversations during what was supposed to be a routine team meeting. Carl was stirring dissent, planting seeds of uncertainty among employees, undermining Byung-ho's leadership with calculated ease. "It's only a matter of time before Byung-ho slips," Carl smirked, casting a glance toward Ji-woo as if to implicate her as a willing accomplice in an inevitable downfall. Rage boiled within Ji-woo. She had fought tirelessly to earn her place in the company, and now the very foundation of her work was under threat, twisted by Carl's toxic influence. Returning to her desk in a storm of emotions, Ji-woo couldn't shake off the warmth and stability Byung-ho offered. In their private meetings, when the world faded away, they both felt the unspoken pull of connection. One night, surrounded by dim light and paper stacks, she made a decision. "Byung-ho, we need to confront Carl," she insisted, setting down the documents. "The integrity of this company depends on it, and so does our future." The earnestness in her voice caught him off guard, revealing not only her commitment to Hanlim, but also her commitment to him. But what they uncovered next would change everything. During a combined investigation into Carl's machinations, Byung-ho confessed that their marriage, initially a strategic arrangement, held layers of meaning he hadn't fully realized. "I hoped that our partnership could flourish into something real," he revealed, looking at Ji-woo with vulnerability that melted her earlier anxieties. "But all I've done is complicate things." The confession spun in Ji-woo's mind like a whirlwind. A fierce jealousy ignited in her. Even if his feelings were sincere, what did that mean for the truth of their union? Did he feel this way for her, or merely as a consequence of their circumstances? As they faced Carl together, every word exchanged became a boundary pushing them further into the storm. With tension maxing out, Ji-woo found herself standing at a crossroads. "Did you ever intend to tell me the truth?" she challenged, her voice steady, yet laced with hurt. Byung-ho stepped closer, desperation coloring his tone. "I never wanted the truth to be lost amidst the chaos. I felt trapped, trying to juggle family loyalty and my feelings for you." Ji-woo swallowed hard, torn between the truth and the affection blossoming in her heart, realizing her own feelings were far too real to deny. She held the power to redefine their bond. Could it be possible that love could emerge amid the turmoil? In that moment of vulnerability, the chaos surrounding them vanished. The air, heavy with unspoken words, hung between them, ripe for transformation. As Carl's schemes unraveled, leaving the battlefield of secrecy laid bare, Ji-woo chose to confront Carl head-on without losing her connection to Byung-ho. "You no longer have control over us," she declared, regaining her footing as she took a stand against his manipulations, her voice echoing with newfound strength and clarity. The confrontation ignited a fiery passion within her, serving as a catalyst for her self-discovery. Byung-ho, standing resolute beside her, captured that strength, becoming her partner in a way he hadn't dared to be until now. With Carl out of the picture, the shards of their relationships began to refashion themselves into something more resilient. However, the road ahead still held uncertainties as Ji-woo pieced together her memories, not just of her marriage, but of her identity outside of it. Though the past remained a mystery, choosing to move forward side by side with Byung-ho felt more natural than ever. The barriers that once separated them began to dissolve, reforming into a solid foundation of trust and understanding. While doubts lay woven in the fabric of their story, something beautiful emerged, a partnership built on shared battles and emerging love. In a quiet moment shared over coffee, Ji-woo dared to voice her thoughts once more, an ember of hope igniting within her. Perhaps together, they could navigate the complexities of their intertwined fates. As the first rays of dawn crept through the office windows, Ji-woo allowed herself to believe in the possibility of finding clarity in their journey together. Trust is the ultimate gamble, and betrayal is its terrible price. The boardroom doors loomed ahead of Ji-woo, her heart pounding as she prepared to confront Carl. Tension crackled in the air, thick and suffocating. It had become all too clear that Carl had been weaving a web of deceit, and Ji-woo's instincts urged her to uncover the truth. She couldn't stand idly by while Hanlim Group, along with her reputation and hard work, hung precariously by a thread. With Byung-ho's quiet reassurance still echoing in her mind, she stepped into the lion's den, her resolve stronger than ever. Carl leaned back in his chair, a smug smile playing on his lips, completely unaware of the storm that was about to unfold. "We need to talk, Carl," Jiwoo declared, her voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions inside her. Carl arched an eyebrow, feigning innocence, but Jiwoo pressed on. "I know what you've been doing behind the scenes. You've been sabotaging the company, and I won't let you get away with it." The room seemed to close in as Carl's expression shifted, revealing a flicker of irritation. Broken trust remained a palpable tension between them, further digging into the depths of their twisted relationship. He chuckled darkly. "You think you can intimidate me? You know nothing about the real game at play." Jiwoo's anger boiled over. There was something almost exhilarating about taking a stand. Her heart raced as she pressed on and exposed the evidence she had collected, a series of secret transactions illuminating Carl's shady dealings. "You're planning to pocket company assets and tear this place apart." In her fervor, Jiwoo's conviction drove her to face Carl, though she felt the fraying ties of her emotions. Unbeknownst to her, Byung-ho had been piecing together Carl's duplicity from the shadows, nervous anticipation coursing through him as he waited for Jiwoo's signal. He approached, filled with determination. "You will not destroy everything we've built, Carl," he said, his voice a deep rumble of confidence. Their partnership in this confrontation had solidified, breaking the barriers that had held them back. It was a moment brimming with potential, one that marked a significant shift in their relationship. With fire in her heart, Jiwoo stood strong beside Byung-ho as they prepared to present Carl's misdeeds to the board of directors. The tension hung heavily, a palpable reminder of their uphill battle. Jiwoo's resolve had morphed into a weapon. She clasped Byung-ho's hand as they entered the boardroom, uniting their strengths and defying any remnants of intimidation. When the moment arrived to reveal the evidence, Jiwoo's voice rang clear. "We have all seen the effects of Carl's actions, but now we can expose the truth." Every eye in the room swept toward her, surprise illuminating their faces as she laid everything bare. Byung-ho, standing steadfast beside her, reflected her determination. Their strength now grew from solidifying power forged in their shared struggle. Carl was not who he pretended to be. His greed knows no bounds, and he must be held accountable, Byung-ho added, his tone resonating with authority. With the board listening intently, Jiwoo felt the build-up of anxiety morph into empowerment. Their alliance had bridged the gap between them, pushing her past fears behind her. Carl, cornered and desperate, squirmed under the scrutinizing gazes of the directors as Jiwoo continued. "It's time to reclaim our integrity and safeguard the company's future. We're stronger than his deceit." The room fell silent, tension coiling tightly before snapping. The board members exchanged glances, astonishment giving way to understanding as they recognized the urgency of Jiwoo and Byung-ho's revelations. In a world where trust was now rare, they had seen true bravery rise from the ashes of betrayal. Finally, the realization of victory washed over them like a warm glow. The decision to unmask Carl's intention breathed life into the company and increased Jiwoo's own sense of self-worth. As Carl was escorted out, defeated, Byung-ho turned to Jiwoo, and the corner of his mouth quirked into a proud smile. "You were incredible," he whispered, their eyes locking in a moment that felt electric, igniting a warmth that had quietly bloomed between them. The challenges they faced had solidified not only their connection, but also their shared vision for the future of Hanlim Group. Rain tapped softly against the windows, an external reminder of the storm they had weathered together. In the aftermath, Jiwoo and Byung-ho found themselves realizing their hearts had fused alongside their pursuit of justice. Sitting together late into the evening, the office transformed into a sanctuary. They shared stories, laughs, and lingering glances filled with hope. Jiwoo felt a sense of relief flow through her. The twisted chapter with Carl had closed, but the road ahead remained uncertain. She had chosen to confront her past and engage her desires without reservations. For the first time, she felt ready to embrace everything she could become. Byung-ho reached across the table, brushing his fingers against hers, sparking a thrill that ignited potential. "Whatever happens next, we face it together," he promised softly, unsure yet resolute. As Jiwoo nodded, she understood that while the future may be unpredictable, they had each other, and that would provide the strength they both needed. Together, they set their sights on rebuilding not only the company, but their lives in a partnership where mutual understanding would pave the way for a profound connection. The dawn of a new beginning shimmered ahead, waiting to unfold their next chapter filled with uncharted possibilities. Every victory comes with a price, and the stakes have never been higher. The atmosphere in the corporate office was charged as Jiwoo and Byung-ho celebrated their hard-fought triumph over Carl. They had bravely exposed his deceptive dealings, standing united with newfound respect from their colleagues. Yet, with the air thickening with victory, a shadow lurked over their accomplishment. Carl, seething with rage, vowed to retaliate against them publicly, churning Jiwoo's triumph into foreboding doubt. The fierce determination that had propelled her forward now threatened to unravel, leaving her grappling with the reality that their battle was far from over. She found herself retracing her steps, the recent success fading, eclipsed by the weight of Carl's threatening words. In the days that followed, Jiwoo's confidence stumbled, caught in a whirlwind of self-doubt and anxiety. The flickerings of a past she began to recall crept into her consciousness, snippets of her wedding day that now felt like a distant dream. Each night, she tossed and turned, haunted by flashes of a moment she couldn't fully grasp. What was the truth about her marriage to Byung-ho? Did those fleeting memories hold any significance? These unanswered questions hung heavily on her heart, compounding the tension as she tried to focus on her work. Every detail seemed to heighten her unease, echoing Carl's threats and planting seeds of uncertainty about her standing in the company and the integrity of her relationship with Byung-ho. Byung-ho sensed Jiwoo's struggle, his heart aching to know the turmoil swirling within her. His feelings for her grew stronger every day, pulling him in a direction he hadn't anticipated, yet communicating those emotions felt like navigating a minefield. He would catch her gaze across the room, watching her tap her fingers nervously on the desk as she avoided his eyes, and felt the weight of his unspoken desires pressing against the walls of his heart. The growing affection he felt was coupled with a worry that his responsibilities might overshadow his ability to be there for her. "I need to protect this company and Jiwoo," he thought, overwhelmed by the duality of his roles, leader and confidant. The tension reached a peak during a meeting meant to re-establish the authority they had regained after Carl's expulsion. Jiwoo's voice shook slightly as she presented new strategies, each word fighting to escape from the grip of anxiety clawing at her throat. But as she spoke, she noticed a few skeptics in the room, their whispers carrying piercing judgments. "Can Jiwoo handle this role?" someone muttered, triggering dark doubts that coursed through her. Byung-ho saw it too and stepped forward, determination lining his jaw. "Jiwoo is our best asset. Her insights led us through one of our toughest battles," he declared, defending her fiercely. The warmth from his support ignited a flicker of confidence within her, yet also heightened her inner turmoil. Did he admire her as an equal or merely as a convenient partner? As time stretched on, their unvoiced emotions began to tangle, intertwining in ways both exciting and terrifying. Jiwoo cultivated an unwelcome wariness over their past arrangement, that initial marriage devoid of affection yet now resonating with potential love. Is this really about each other? Or are we still playing the roles we were assigned? She questioned quietly, her voice barely above a whisper, hoping to unlock whatever truth existed beneath the surface. Byung-ho met her gaze, sensing the vulnerability of the moment. At that instant, something shifted. They both felt their emotional barriers begin to fracture under the weight of sincerity. "I want us to be more than just a corporate arrangement," he confessed. Jiwoo's heart skipped a beat, yet those tender words clashed with the haunting uncertainty of her memories. The poignant revelations converged in Jiwoo's mind like a jigsaw puzzle, moving her closer to a critical choice. The yearning to unveil the truth about her fragmented past gnawed at her relentlessly. Each dream was vivid, snippets entwined with whispers of emotions she had yet to articulate. Tired of being trapped in her own silence, she finally resolved to confront Byung-ho about their relationship and pursue any memories that remained locked away. "We need to talk about our past, about us," Ji-woo finally said, her voice a mixture of fear and hope, the weight of her question hanging heavily in the air between them. "What do we mean to each other? And what does our marriage truly signify?" In that moment, under the harsh glow of office lights, they stood at a precipice, one that could tip them either into clarity or chaos. Byung-ho exhaled slowly, as if bracing himself for the storm that was to follow. "I've been afraid of losing you. The truth is, my feelings run deep. I want us to be real," he admitted, his sincerity piercing through Ji-woo's doubts. It was a turning point, a moment where vulnerability washed over them, slowly illuminating their intertwined narratives. Though the challenges remained ahead, bound by unresolved memories, outside threats, and the shadow of Carl, the foundation they built together resonated with promise. Together, they resolved to unearth the truth behind their past and protect the growing relationship that hovered tenderly between them. In that sense of newfound understanding, hope flickered brightly, daring to illuminate the path that lay ahead. In the shadows of forgotten vows, passion flickers to life. The evening air was thick with unspoken tension as Ji-woo sat in her quiet apartment, the walls echoing with memories she couldn't quite grasp. Flashes of her wedding day haunted her dreams, fragments slipping through her fingers like sand. She could see the soft glow of candlelight, feel the warmth of a hand grasping hers, yet the faces and details remained obscured. All she had were whispers of emotions that lingered long after her memories faded. It was a puzzle that clawed at her heart, entwined with her deepening feelings for Byung-ho, the one person she trusted most. But the more she tried to piece it together, the more fragmented it became, burdening her soul with doubt. The question loomed heavy. What did their marriage truly mean? Determined to confront her tangled past, Ji-woo found herself drawn to Byung-ho, a force that had unwittingly anchored her amidst the storm of uncertainties. Over time, their late-night discussions had morphed from strategy meetings to genuine heart-to-heart conversations, moments where laughter turned into lingering glances and support transformed into something intangible that simmered beneath the surface. Yet underneath the surface, Byung-ho quietly battled his own conflicting emotions. Each day he felt the weight of his protective instincts towards Ji-woo clash against his growing affection. Could he reveal the depth of his feelings without risking everything he'd fought for? The evening Ji-woo decided to confront Byung-ho was marked by a heavy rain that mirrored the turmoil within her. Lightning illuminated the darkened rooms, casting flickering shadows across their shared histories. "We need to talk about our past, about that day and what it truly means for us," she asserted, her voice tentative yet resolute, as they stood facing each other in the dimly lit living room. Byung-ho's heart raced at the sincerity in her voice, and he felt an urge to dive deeper into the emotions unchained between them. But what could he reveal without destroying the fragile connection they had cultivated? Ji-woo's eyes fired with determination, igniting a flicker of understanding in Byung-ho's heart. It was time to uncover the truth. As Ji-woo recounted the elusive memories of their wedding day, pieces began to align. The fragmented images formed a clearer picture, illuminating forgotten intentions and heart-stopping vows. "I remember you," she whispered, despair and realization mingling as she acknowledged him as more than a mere partner in convenience. The truth hung between them like forbidden fruit waiting to be plucked. The air grew thick as she probed into the gaps, desperate for clarity in their bond. "You were there to protect me, right? All along?" she gasped, the enormity of her discovery dawning upon her. Byung-ho stepped closer, vulnerability painting his expression. "I wanted to be everything for you, not just a husband in name." In that moment, the walls they had each built began to tremble, the raw yearning threatening to unleash all they had suppressed. "I've fallen for you since the first time we met," he confessed, his voice cracking under the pressure of revelation. "I never intended for this to be just an obligation. It's always been about us, the connection that grew out of necessity and became something beautiful." Tears pricked Jiwoo's eyes as the warmth of his confession seeped into her heart, erasing the doubts that marred her spirit. Their faces drew closer, embers of longing igniting in the space that separated them. With no past to hold them back, nothing but the truth that had finally woven their lives together, Jiwoo surrendered to the passionate force that surrounded them. Their lips met in a kiss that felt like a revelation, igniting the remnants of old wounds while sealing their bond anew, confessing emotions that had waited long in the shadows. In the aftermath of the kiss, time seemed to suspend, leaving them enveloped in a cocoon of warmth and understanding. The weight of their prior struggles faded, replaced by clarity that heralded a new beginning. They had decided to embrace the complexities that lay in both their past and their future, recognizing that love was never just a straight path. Rather, it was a journey woven from shared experiences, struggles, and ambitions. Though uncertainties remained, and the specter of Carl's threats still loomed, Jiwoo felt emboldened and empowered. With Byung-ho standing by her side, she knew she had the strength to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Unfolding their love on the stage of life's uncertainties felt like the beginning of a new chapter, one where they would dismantle their past while forging a future together, hand in hand, heart embracing heart. Hope illuminated their path, inviting them to explore the depth of their connection and unearth the endless possibilities that awaited. A love not bound by obligation, but free to blossom into the extraordinary. Love is a battlefield, and the enemy knows your secrets. The atmosphere at Hanlim Group was electric with anticipation, a mix of fresh ambition and lingering doubt. Jiwoo stood before her desk, a determined gleam in her eyes, having just begun to embrace the possibility of a bright future with Byung-ho. Their relationship had blossomed from shared struggles and honest revelations, transforming their earlier roles as mere business partners into something more profound. However, just as they were beginning to navigate the new dynamics of their budding romance, a familiar shadow loomed, a reminder that past threats could still reclaim hold of their lives. Out of nowhere, Carl re-emerged, consumed by spite and determination to shatter what they had built. The day Carl walked back into the office, a palpable tension engulfed everything. Jiwoo felt it first as a prickling sensation on the back of her neck. As Carl strutted across the room with a devil-may-care smirk, Jiwoo overheard him whispering ominous things behind closed doors. At first, she dismissed him as a threat long defeated, but the way he eyed her sent shivers down her spine. Carl had always been a puppet master, and she couldn't shake the feeling that he was about to unveil a sinister plan aimed squarely at dismantling her newfound happiness. With a sickening pit in her stomach, Jiwoo could only hope he wouldn't leverage the shadows of her past to destroy everything. Days turned to adrenaline-fueled nights as Carl's influence began to seep back into the company. A campaign of whispers and rumors started taking root. Jiwoo found herself under scrutiny, staring down colleagues who had momentarily supported her, but now seemed swayed by Carl's cunning manipulation. As she pored over spreadsheets late at night, the specter of self-doubt clawed at her resolve. Did Carl know the details of her past that could ruin her? And what about Byung-ho? Would Carl's machinations threaten not only her position at Hanlim, but jeopardize their relationship as well? Every secret she had kept, every painful memory, gripped her like an iron shackle, each reminder choking her spirit. In the midst of growing tensions, Jiwoo treaded the line between fear and determination. Ultimately, it was a fateful confrontation with Carl that brought everything to a head. The board meeting their growth quickly turned into Carl's platform for conquest. "You really think anyone could root for a failed marriage like yours?" he sneered, casting a dark glance at Jiwoo. "How could you bring any value to this company? Everyone here knows your past." The words were like daggers, plunging into the heart of Jiwoo's insecurities. Panic flitted across her face as fired voices surrounded her, murmuring disbelief. But before she could succumb to doubt, she caught the fierce, protective glare of Byung-ho, a reminder of the love that had propelled her this far. A spark suddenly ignited inside her. Fueled by newfound bravery, Ji-woo realized she had a choice to make. Let fear dictate her future or step forward and claim her place. "Carl, I won't let you weaponize my past," she said, her voice strong and unwavering, arms crossed defiantly. "I stand here not just as a wife, but as a partner in this company, invested, dedicated, and ready to fight for it." The room fell silent, and she could hear only the beating of her heart as the weight of her decision rippled through the air. Byung-ho joined her side, admiration and pride merging in his gaze. Together, they stood united against Carl's manipulative game. In that moment, Ji-woo realized how far she had come. The shadows of her past no longer defined her, but instead motivated her to push forward. She glanced at Byung-ho, their hands subtly brushing against each other, sending a rush of warmth through her. The strength in their union became tangible, and in that raw vulnerability, she decided to address Carl head-on, to his face. "You might think you can shatter us," she claimed, her eyes fierce. "But love built on real understanding, can never be broken so easily." The tension in the room shifted as her boldness rippled through everyone present, eyes darting between her and Carl as the weight of her words hung heavily. Carl's facade cracked for the first time, the clever manipulator momentarily stripped of his bravado. The color drained from his face as he realized Ji-woo had redefined the narrative, and he had lost control. It was in this crescendo of confrontation, with Byung-ho standing by her side, that Ji-woo reaffirmed her commitment, both to her husband and the company she cherished. This moment marked not only a turning point in their battle against Carl, but also solidified the bond she had forged with Byung-ho. They had emerged from the ashes of uncertainty to confront the world as a couple, defining their paths together. As Carl was escorted out, Ji-woo felt a triumphant surge wash over her, mingled with liberation and heartache. She turned to Byung-ho, relieved, yet exhilarated. And in that gaze, unspoken words flowed between them. They understood this journey was only beginning, filled with challenges and choices that would compel them to dig deeper into their hearts. Yet through it all, Ji-woo felt a sense of belonging and strength radiate. The business they had fought to protect had become a metaphor for their own relationship, a testament that love could prosper even in the darkest moments, exemplifying growth from struggle. Forging ahead, Ji-woo knew they would confront the future together, emboldened by trust and mutual respect, determined to navigate whatever came next. Sometimes, the strongest bonds are forged in the fires of adversity. The air was thick with tension in the sleek boardroom of Hanlim Group. With the echoes of past struggles still fresh within her, Ji-woo felt a surge of determination and resilience as she prepared for the final showdown against Carl. Together with Byung-ho, her steadfast partner, they had pieced together the intricate layers of deception that had plagued their company. Standing side by side, they were no longer just colleagues. They had become confidants, allies in an uphill battle that tested their limits. Beneath the polished surface of their professional lives lay a depth of trust and respect that had grown amidst the chaos of corporate politics. As Carl's conspiracies unfolded, Ji-woo navigated the uncharted waters of corporate double-dealing with both fear and courage. Every meeting felt like a chess game, with her heart pounding as she anticipated Carl's next move. Yet, her resolve only deepened. She learned to trust not only in her abilities, but also in Byung-ho's unwavering support, a partnership born from shared struggles. Conversations between them shifted from mere strategy sessions to heartfelt discussions about their hopes, dreams, and fears. In those moments, their vulnerability towards one another reinforced their connection, paving the way for a deeper understanding that transcended their original arrangement. After weeks of quiet tension, the climax arrived in a board meeting cloaked in uncertainty. Ji-woo sat with her heart racing, listening to Carl attempt to twist the narrative, threatening to expose any weaknesses and calling her loyalty into question. "The company needs a real leader, not someone hiding behind a veil of deceit," he sneered, eyes darting between Ji-woo and Byung-ho, seeking to sow doubt among their colleagues. Ji-woo felt the eyes of the board on her. Those sharp whispers of uncertainty were deafening. Would she let Carl's malicious games derail their hard-earned progress and the love she felt blooming for her husband? Drawing strength from their shared experiences, Ji-woo stood with newfound confidence. She took a deep breath, her voice fierce yet steady. "I stand by Byung-ho and this company. We have worked too hard to be torn apart by your lies and manipulations." The air crackled with tension, and for a moment, time felt suspended as she defied Carl's venomous threats, laying bare the secrets he had tried to leverage against her. Byung-ho's supportive gaze anchored her. His quiet nod of encouragement ignited a flame of resolve within her. Together, they faced the adversary who sought to destroy their collaboration and maturity. As Ji-woo articulated the truth behind their united front, emphasizing their mutual trust and dedication, Carl's insidious facade began to crumble. She highlighted the progress made under Byung-ho's leadership and the genuine commitment they shared to propel Hanlim Group into a new era, one built on integrity and collaboration. The board listened intently, their expressions shifting from skepticism to realization. Carl, stripped of his power in that moment, fell silent. His confidence unraveled, and tension swept through the room like a storm. Ji-woo took a step closer to Byung-ho, grounding herself in their bond, heart racing with a mix of fear and exhilaration. "We won't let deceit divide us," she proclaimed, looking back at Byung-ho, the strength between them palpable. Their victory felt bittersweet, but well-earned. Byung-ho's position as CEO was solidified, and Ji-woo was welcomed into the executive team, acknowledged for her talent and dedication. The acknowledgement served as a testament to her hard work and the battles fought alongside Byung-ho. With the shadows of Carl gone, they took a moment to breathe, realizing how far they had come together. The journey, fraught with challenges, had brought them clarity, unveiling buried truths within their hearts. Amidst it all, they found a blossoming affection that transcended mere partnership, weaving a tapestry of unconditional love. As they stood together in the quiet aftermath of battle, Ji-woo and Byung-ho reflected on their shared dreams for the future, visions intertwined with their personal and professional aspirations. They dared to imagine a new Hanlim Group, thriving under the principles they had fought for, driven by their passion and integrity. Their hands found each other, fingers interlocking quietly but with purpose, echoing the journey of trust they'd begun to share. In that moment of unity, Ji-woo felt a profound sense of home, secure in knowing they would face whatever hurdles lay ahead together. Their love, a fierce flame, would guide them as they sought to cultivate not only their company's future, but their shared lives filled with promise and potential. Weaving love through the tapestry of trials often reveals the strongest connections. The grand ballroom of Hanlim Group sparkled, draped in lush fabrics and illuminated by glittering chandeliers, celebrating their hard-fought victory over Carl's scheming betrayal. Ji-woo's heart raced with excitement and bittersweet nostalgia as she took in her surroundings. This moment symbolized not just a triumph in business, but a personal victory born from resilience, courage, and unwavering support from her partner, Byung-ho. The air hummed with laughter and clinking glasses, but amidst the revelry, Ji-woo found herself reflecting on the tumultuous journey that had led them to this point. The road was paved with shadows, but those same shadows had also illuminated her path to a profound understanding of herself and the man who stood beside her. The celebration was a bittersweet reminder of the struggles they had faced together. Ji-woo spotted Byung-ho across the room, animatedly engaging with colleagues. He exuded a confidence that enhanced his previous vulnerability, each smile drawing her closer. Moments flashed through her mind, challenges conquered, fears bridged, and the undeniable chemistry that had blossomed between them during their trials. Yet, she couldn't dismiss the weight of her past. Memories of a hurried wedding day obtained through necessity hovered in her thoughts, threatening to mar this moment of joy. While mingling with colleagues, Ji-woo felt an undercurrent of uncertainty. Her insecurities whispered to her, questioning whether she deserved this happiness. They had stood side by side through the storm, but with the celebration in full swing, she caught the grain of doubt creeping into her heart. Would Byung-ho continue to see her as his equal partner, or would her past overshadow her present? As she wrestled with these dual emotions, she noticed Byung-ho was making his way toward her, his eyes warm like sunlight piercing through clouds. His presence calmed her, reminding her that they had navigated rough waters and could embrace whatever came next. As they found a quiet corner, the noise of the crowd faded into the background, leaving space for genuine connection. Ji-woo looked up at Byung-ho, feeling a tumult of emotions surge. "Tonight is incredible," she said, striving for lightness despite the depth of her reflections. "But I still have shadows behind me. I want you to know." Her voice trailed off, uncertainty clawing at her. Byung-ho, sensing the tumult within her, took her hands in his, sending warmth radiating through her. "We've faced enough darkness together. Nothing can eclipse the light we've created. If anything, your past makes you stronger, and it doesn't define you. You're not alone in this." His words flowed like a balm over her insecurities, allowing her fears to ebb. The fondness swelling in her heart found an outlet. As the evening unfolded, transformed by intimate conversations, Ji-woo felt the healing power of vulnerability envelop them both. They exchanged stories, dreams, and hopes, each shared word further intertwining their souls. It was then that Byung-ho reached into his pocket, pulling out a simple letter. "I wrote this for you," he said, his expression softening. Ji-woo's heartbeat quickened, curiosity mingling with anticipation. And with a deep breath, he unfolded the letter and began reading aloud, his voice steady, yet filled with emotion. "Ji-woo, you have shown me what it means to fight through adversity," he began, pouring every ounce of admiration and love into his words. "Your resilience has touched my heart, and through every trial we faced, I realized I've fallen for you completely. You're not just my partner in business, you're my partner in life. I cherish you more than words can say." Each sentence resonated deeply, nudging the walls around Ji-woo's heart to break down further, allowing warmth and love to flow freely in. By the time he finished reading, Ji-woo found tears brimming in her eyes, emotions catching in her throat as she felt the depth of his sincerity. The ballroom felt charged with an energy that transcended time, their gazes locking in a moment that felt eternal. Without hesitation, she spoke from the heart. "You've shown me that I've always been worthy of love and respect. I want nothing more than to stand by your side, facing the future together." The atmosphere turned electric as they closed the distance, both hearts beating in harmony, bringing their lips together in a soft, lingering kiss. It was a consummation of everything they had fought for, a promise of love against the backdrop of hardship and understanding. As they parted, breathing heavily, the world around them faded into a blur. Ji-woo realized that through the shared victories and struggles, they had woven a bond that could not be easily broken. The celebration continued, but she felt anchored by the strength of their relationship, a strength that had once seemed elusive, but now imbued every moment with possibility. Together they faced a future filled with hope, their hearts open to new challenges and experiences, ready to embrace whatever life would set before them, hand in hand. The journey had tested them, but it had also united their souls, paving the way for a love that would only continue to evolve. In the quietest moments, the loudest vows are made. The celebration of Hanlim Group's recent triumph echoed through the night, laughter and joy swirling around Ji-woo and Byung-ho like an enchanting melody. As colleagues toasted to their success over Carl's schemes, Ji-woo stood slightly apart, her heart heavy with the weight of emotions yearning to be addressed. Through the ups and downs, their relationship had transformed, navigating the intricate dance of partnership intertwined with love. It was a bittersweet night, filled with remembrances of the trials they had faced, but also a canvas awaiting the brushstrokes of their shared future. Byung-ho's eyes sparkled under the soft lighting, yet he seemed contemplative, as if wrestling with something unspoken. As the evening progressed, Ji-woo felt an undercurrent of tension blooming between them. Shadows from their past threatened to steal the joy of their present. During a quiet interlude, laughter faded into the background, and she caught Byung-ho gazing at her, his expression a potent mix of affection and resolve. The past few months had been riddled with doubts and insecurities, yet here they stood, a testament to hard-fought growth. Tension persisted, holding them in a silent embrace, complicating the air with everything left unsaid. Would this night simply be a celebration, or was it the turning point they had been yearning for? Suddenly, Byung-ho stepped closer, the noise of the party dissolving into the soothing beats of their shared heartbeat. He took a deep breath before kneeling on one knee, a moment that froze the world around them, moving Ji-woo's heart into overdrive. As he reached into his pocket, his hands trembled slightly. "Ji-woo," he began, his voice steady yet full of emotion. "We've weathered storms together, faced down fears, and built something incredible. I want to turn this marriage from mere convenience into a true partnership. You mean everything to me." In his palm lay a glimmering ring, its dazzling shine reflecting the hope of their journey. The atmosphere was electrifying, the muted clamor of the celebration around them replaced by the storm of feelings raging within Ji-woo. She felt overwhelmed, chills running through her as tears brimmed in her eyes. I don't know what to say," she managed, her voice catching. The unexpected depth of his gesture wrapped around her heart like a warm embrace, unraveling the knots of doubt that had tied her to fear and insecurity. Yet before she could find the words, Byung-ho continued, "You've shown me what love truly means. I want to walk through life with you, to grow and share in every joy and challenge. Will you marry me again?" The sincerity of his question ignited warmth within her that eclipsed all previous struggles. "Yes," Ji-woo exclaimed, the sudden rush of emotion overpowering. As Byung-ho slipped the ring onto her finger, the hall around them faded away, replaced by the glowing brilliance of their shared promise. In that moment, everything they had fought for crystallized, a love woven through adversity and triumph, celebrated with renewed vows. Byung-ho rose, drawing her into a tight embrace, their bodies fitting together perfectly, securing their commitment to one another. As they stepped back, Ji-woo looked into his eyes, a silent understanding passing between them, the depths of their souls laid bare to one another. The night had revealed itself as more than just a celebration. It marked the dawn of a shared future intertwined with unwavering trust. In the lingering warmth of that moment, they shared a kiss, soft yet electrifying, sealing their new commitment with unspoken promises. Cheers erupted around them as friends and colleagues witnessed the transformation of their bond, the sincerity of their union radiating like the light surrounding them. Love had triumphed, not merely cultivating a marriage, but evolving a partnership filled with hope and resilience. As the festivities continued, Ji-woo felt lightness envelop her spirit. She had confronted the shadows of her past, embraced the potential of her future, and recognized the profound strength laced within their newfound covenant. Together, with open hearts and unwavering support, Ji-woo and Byung-ho would navigate whatever life had in store, their love now the unwavering compass guiding them forward. Love is not just a feeling, it's a journey of growth and triumph. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the city, Ji-woo and Byung-ho walked through the bustling streets of Seoul hand in hand, reflecting on the heights they had scaled together. Their lives had intertwined in ways they had never imagined, a blend of personal commitment and professional ambition that catapulted them into the spotlight as a formidable power couple. Between striding through the iconic office of Hanlim Group and navigating their family dynamics, every moment was a testament to their resilience during dark times, showcasing the strength of their bond forged in the fires of challenge. Ji-woo, once a hesitant participant in the business world, now stood poised to lead. For Ji-woo, this transformation had been nothing short of revolutionary. From the depths of self-doubt, she had emerged as a vital force within the company, her voice gaining its rightful position in board meetings that once intimidated her. Byung-ho provided constant encouragement, his unwavering belief in her potential igniting sparks of confidence. Yet navigating the corporate landscape was not without its wrinkles. They faced pressure not only from industry competitors, but also from familial expectations and societal whispers, questioning their dynamic. Every encounter with those old shadows demanded they rise above, and together, they did. As the annual company meeting approached, anticipation loomed heavy in the air. Jiwoo stood backstage, nerves fluttering in her stomach. What if I stumble? She thought, just as Byung-ho entered her line of sight. He caught her gaze and smiled, a reassuring warmth radiating from him that settled the tempest within her. No matter what happens, we've built something incredible together. Just be yourself. His words enveloped her with a sense of belonging, a reminder of how far they had. With a nod, Jiwoo took a deep breath, stepping into the light, momentarily overshadowing her doubts. The meeting commenced with palpable energy, thoughts and ideas bouncing around like vibrant fireworks. As Jiwoo presented her vision, she felt the tide of acceptance wash over the audience. Their whispers transformed into applause, affirming her resolve and reinvigorating her spirit. The warmth of acceptance coalesced with each wave of applause, but tucked within the tangle of positive reception was an unsettling realization. Carl's shadow still loomed, a reminder that the past was never far behind. In a surprising twist, he appeared unannounced, smirking from the corner, casting doubt on her newfound confidence. Yet at that moment, Jiwoo felt a surge of defiance. Rather than retreating, she stood firm, confronting Carl's glaring presence with a newfound dignity. "We've overcome your schemes, Carl, and we will continue to thrive," she proclaimed, voice steady and bright. The room fell silent, then erupted in cheers. Jiwoo realized that she was not just standing for herself, but for everything she had built with Byung-ho, their love, their struggles, and their triumphs. Byung-ho's eyes sparkled with pride as he stepped forward, reinforcing her statement. This moment was pivotal, marking an undeniable shift in their relationship. It wasn't just about surviving, they were co-creators of their futures. In a heartwarming turn, Jiwoo and Byung-ho closed the meeting with a presentation highlighting their shared vision for the company. The enthusiasm between them was palpable, illuminating the path they had carved together. As the audience absorbed the culmination of their dedication, Jiwoo felt a deep sense of belonging settle within her. Internal conflicts merged with hope, securing her place not only as an executive but as a partner in life, a fitting tribute to their journey together. Under the soft glow of post-meeting lights, he pulled her aside, an expression of determination lighting his face. "Jiwoo, you've not only claimed your place in this company, but you've also claimed your place in my heart." As the evening wore on, the annual celebration reached its zenith. The ambiance was charged, as Byung-ho took a submerged seat in the moment. He leaned in closer, whispering something that made her heart flutter with anticipation. "I have something for you," he said, producing a small velvet box. Taking a deep, fortifying breath, he opened it to reveal a delicate ring, glinting under the vibrant lights. "I want us to embrace our journey together, not just as partners in business, but in life." "Will you marry me? Again?" Tears welled in Jiwoo's eyes as her heart soared, a tidal wave of happiness washing over her. "Yes! 1,000 times yes!" The crowd around them erupted in spontaneous applause and laughter, and in that moment, as they embraced each other tightly, everything fell into place. In front of their colleagues and friends, Jiwoo felt the weight of the past dissolve, replaced by profound love and promise. They sealed the commitment with a kiss that spoke volumes of their triumph, a fusion of love, persistence, and growth. The evening morphed into a celebration of their achievements, but it also became the dawn of their next chapter, one filled with hope, challenges, and an unwavering partnership. Walking hand in hand, Jiwoo and Byung-ho stepped outside, the crisp night air wrapping around them like a gentle embrace. Their journey was a beautiful mosaic crafted from struggle, success, and undeniable love. Together, they would not only navigate the complexities of corporate ambitions, but also thrive in the heart of their shared dreams. A love story that was still being written, page by page, hand in hand. Each step felt resolute, marking the promise of a vibrant future rich with possibilities. symbolizing not just a partnership, but a life bound by trust, affection, and endless adventure. Did you enjoy this story of overcoming challenges, love, and loyalty? What do you think about the relationship between Jiwoo and Byung-ho? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. Let's talk about it.